Everyone, welcome to my weekly energy and abundance reading. This week it's the 14th of February 2022. Happy Valentine's Day. My name is Karen from karenturpin.com, and today I'm going to talk a little bit about unity consciousness. You've probably heard me talk before about community coming into unity together. So back in about probably 2002, in my classes, I used to talk about unity consciousness, this awakening that was happening on the planet, this shift into a new age, the age of light. Some people call it the golden age, or a timeline shift. I used to talk about it as a mass awakening or a global shift of consciousness. All of these, descriptions for this period of time that we find ourselves in. A lot of people talked about this happening around 2012, the end of the Mayan calendar. I kind of felt 2017 to 2020 was more likely. Here we are, it's 2022. And really, we are kind of in the middle of it, which is interesting. Many of us that have been on this spiritual path for a long time, we know that, there are masses of people awake now than what there were. These last 2 years of their plan, the pandemic, it's been terrible, tragic for many people, but it's pushed an awful lot of people to wake up. A lot of people that may not have woken up had they not been placed into such dire circumstances or situations. And we know that people are, it's only when we're in that much pain that we really can't stand another day with that level of pain that we start to move, to shift. So humans are kind of hardwired to move away from pain and towards pleasure, but we're kind of a bit like suckers for punishment sometimes, because we stay in painful situations far longer than we should very often. We stay in marriages that we know don't work. We stay in jobs that we hate. We stay with conditions of physical pain or illness or dis-ease for longer periods of time than we should. We could move towards pleasure much sooner, but we kind of hang out in the pain stage. So these last 2 years, people have suffered, and it's pushed people to the edge. Some, it's unbearable and they have left the planet. Others, it pushed them to wake up and begin to make a change, to change something. So back in the day when we used to talk about moving into this new age, I've kind of never really been a love and light syndrome kind of person. I've always been, as a spiritual teacher, much more grounded and down to earth. But I got to say, when I think of unity consciousness, I think of everybody kind of in love, in harmony, coming together in unity. You've probably heard me say that many more times than we care to remember. But I think of like-minded communities that support each other, cooperatives, communities, and things like that. That's unity consciousness, people coming together, a little bit kind of like, Pandora in the movie Avatar, where everyone is vibrating at harmony and bliss and peace, that kind of thing. However, when you're pregnant, you're going to have a beautiful baby at the end, and that you're going to go through the transition and the birth stage. And there's some pain and some hardships and some stresses in that period where you're going through the birth phase. You expect that because you know it. It's one of those things you have to go through to birth your baby. And we're kind of pre-warned about that, and we prepare as best we can for that. But the thing that's different about this time that we're in on the planet is that we haven't done this before. Nobody has written a textbook on how to move through this transition and birthing process into a new age. We don't know what it was going to look like, what to expect. And so I actually think we're there. We're not fully there, but we're a long way down that path. And whilst we can't look around the planet and say, oh, how beautiful, everybody's in unity, we're all living in harmony. It's not like that. But look at the sheer magnitude, the numbers of people all around the world that are protesting, that are marching, that are in convoys, that are coming out of their homes to support those on the convoys. Millions of people. We are talking about millions of people who are supporting a common goal. They're coming together, even though we're all around the world. We are coming together and we are standing for sovereignty and for freedom. And that is unity. What we're seeing of these people that are out there at these marches is unity. They are coming together in unity to stand for sovereignty and freedom, and for people's rights, for people's ability to speak truth without being censored, to travel freely around this planet, to see their loved ones, to breathe God's fresh air without a mask on their face, for goodness sake. People are coming together in unity to stand for this. So, isn't that interesting? We didn't know what unity consciousness would look like. We didn't know how to make it happen. And yet, is this not exactly what we're seeing rolling out around the planet? So we know that when we're talking about manifesting something, we see it first in a vision. We get the vision and then we start putting our consciousness and our energy into it, and we build it in consciousness first. And then in due course, it kind of drops into this physical level, regardless of whether we say that's 3D or 5D, doesn't matter. We've built it in consciousness and then it drops in and it is made manifest in this reality. So we've been talking about unity, people coming together to support each other, to care for each other. And here we are, have it playing out now, made manifest in the physical by these people attending the protests and the rallies. There are people donating food. There are people offering shelter. People are opening their homes. Come in and have a shower. Come in and sleep a while. Here are some hot meals for you. We've heard reports of truckies in Canada feeding the homeless in that city. And people are donating food and medical supplies and tents, sleeping bags. Is that not people coming together in unity, community? That is unity consciousness demonstrated right there. I think that's pretty amazing, actually. It may be manifesting in a way that we didn't expect, but we've never done this before on this planet. We've never anchored unity consciousness here, where we're asking people from all walks of life to come together. There are, lawyers, doctors, teachers, firemen, pilots, tradies, mothers, grandparents, children, every race, every ethnicity, every religion. Is that not unity? Well, it actually is. It may look slightly different than what we spiritual folk thought it might look like, but who are we to know? We've never anchored unity consciousness on this planet before in this way, especially with social media and MSM trying to tell us that things are this way when we can see with our own eyes that they're that way. And so, these protests are generally peaceful until these paid disruptors arrive. And we know that they're paid disruptors because we can see it. They stand out like a sore thumb. Trolls are easily identified because they don't have unity codes in their body. They haven't got unity in their consciousness. They have a black heart because they're working for a black agenda. So they're very easy to spot. They're not aligned to the unity, sovereignty, and freedom that you and I are. So they're very easy to spot. They've got a whole different vibration, and it's very palpable. So, you know, it's fair to say this is all rolling out and looking slightly different than we expected. You might think that I'm off track with what I'm sharing here. That's fine, but I just see people coming together in unity. And that makes sense to me as to how this would play out at this time. We will have more peace and harmony and bliss upon this planet, but we're not quite there yet. We're still in that birthing phase. You know, there's a little while to go yet until we get everybody on side, and some may never be on side. And that's fine, because we should have free will and choice. That's the whole point of this, right? So anyway, I wanted to share that with you. I'd love to hear what you think of my, suggestion that this is actually what we're seeing already, unity consciousness. Haven't heard anyone else talk about it in this way, so I'd like to hear what you think about it. Does that resonate for you? Could you see that what we're looking at is the potential, the beginning of this coming together to support each other and, you know, to look after one another? I really genuinely believe that this is what we're seeing around the world, and that's pretty special. So, you know, a lot of people are suffering. A lot of people are in despair. They feel that we will never get through this. Depending where you live on the planet, you know, here in Australia, we've got certain restrictions and rules and mandates, or whatever the heck that they say we have to do, which many of them, as we know, are not even lawful. And everybody around the world has a whole different set of circumstances that they have to navigate. People are in despair, they're frustrated, they're sad, they're feeling, you know, boxed into a corner. However, when I see this wave of unity, I know that the tide has turned, and I know that I personally am on that side of unity consciousness, and I can see that the other side, what I call the dark side, they are squirming because we have so much light on our side in this unity consciousness movement, because we have love in our heart, we have sovereignty and freedom, and these really are the highest values. And so we have a lot of light within us on our side, and that light is coming onto the planet more and more and more. You know, obviously there's, you know, plasma waves coming in and activations and all of that, but really it's that we are awakening the light that is within us, that cares for one another, that supports humanity, and we stand together for that. So I'm feeling very inspired, very uplifted, very positive. I know that the light has already won, but there's, you know, a time lag before we see it in the ether, in the quantum field, and the time before it lands and is fully activated and anchored here on the planet. But it is being made manifest right now before our eyes, I believe. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Tell me where you sit with this. Share with me your experience. You can DM me. I read all my DMs, and you can find me on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Karen Turpin Abundance Coach. And if you want to sign up for my newsletters, which I send a couple of times a week with stuff that I want to talk about, you can find that on my website, which is karenturpin.com. So I hope this has been helpful to you. I hope it's been uplifting, and I hope that it's given you some hope and really a shift maybe in how you see what's rolling out around the planet, because I don't see it as doom and gloom by any means. It's the complete opposite. There's so much love, there's so much light here, and it's unity consciousness, and that's very special. So I hope this has been helpful, and I will see you all next week. Have a great week. Bye-bye.